Доброго ранку, ми з країни.
Video footage shows British-made artillery being used by Ukrainian troops. British firepower is changing the course of the war in the east of Ukraine, on Russian forces, reports have indicated. Dramatic clips showed Ukrainian troops making full use of the M777 howitzers, developed by the UK, with one soldier describing it as extremely precise. Ukrainian forces recently reclaimed Kherson, the key city in the south of the country, and are using the M777 in a bid to similarly reclaim land in Donetsk. Asked why the weapon was changing the course of the conflict, Serhiy, a Ukrainian soldier interviewed by US-backed Radio Free Europe, was unequivocal in his agreement, explaining the key lay in the weapon's accuracy. He explained, "People who work with this artillery are very effective. That's why we work smoothly, everything is as it should be." Nearly 1,000 Russian soldiers have been killed in one day in Ukraine, Kyiv has claimed, marking the deadliest day for Vladimir Putin since his troops invaded 8 months ago. Ukrainian forces have been making gains across Russian-occupied areas, with fighting intensifying in the country's east and in the southern city of Kherson. In a blow to Putin's invasion, 950 Russian soldiers were killed on Sunday, pushing the Russian death toll up to at least 71,200, Kyiv has claimed. And in yet another example of his FOSS's incompetence, video shows panic-stricken Russian soldiers fleeing a Ukrainian attack on an armored vehicle, only for it to flip over and fling the troops into the air. Footage, apparently from Kherson, shows Russian soldiers running towards an armored vehicle as Ukrainian missiles rain down on them. Russian media reported multiple deaths of reservists in Ukraine, with their relatives telling news outlets that they had received very little training. When asked by a reporter why several reservists had died in Ukraine only 3 weeks after being called up, Putin confirmed that training could last as few as 10 days and as many as 25. Military analyst Pavel Luzin said Russia is not able to train hundreds of thousands of men. The army was not ready for mobilization. It never prepared for it, he said. Putin has promised to finish the call-up drive by November, when the regular autumn draft is scheduled. Military experts and rights groups say enlistment offices and training camps can't process both at the same time, warning that mobilization may resume months later. As of mid-October, 222,000 reservists have been recruited, Putin said. Whether it will be possible to enlist another 80,000 in the remaining 2 weeks is unclear. To try to broaden the pool, the Russian parliament on Wednesday lifted a ban on mobilizing men who have been convicted of a grave criminal offense and who have been released from prison but whose convictions are still on the books. It comes as NATO member Norway will raise its military readiness, its prime minister said today, pointing to ongoing Russian aggression in Ukraine as cause for greater caution. The military will as of tomorrow raise its preparedness in Norway, Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre, whose nation shares a land border with Russia in the Arctic Circle, told reporters. "We currently have no reason to believe that Russia wants to involve Norway or any other country directly in the war, but the war in Ukraine means it is necessary for all NATO countries to be increasingly on their guard," he added. Norway has overtaken Russia as Europe's main natural gas supplier following Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. The Scandinavian country has already raised security around its strategic sites after mysterious drone flights were observed near its offshore oil and gas platforms and the suspected sabotage of Nord Stream's Baltic Sea pipelines. Meanwhile, in Ukraine, a massive barrage of Russian strikes hit critical infrastructure in Kyiv, Kharkiv, and other cities on Monday morning, knocking out water and power supplies in apparent retaliation for what Moscow alleged was a Ukrainian attack on its Black Sea fleet over the weekend. Russia has intensified its attacks on Ukraine's power plants and other key infrastructure as the war enters its 9th month. Large parts of Ukraine are already experiencing rolling power cuts as a result. Russia's defense ministry said its forces carried out strikes with long-range high-precision air and sea-based weapons against the military command and energy systems of Ukraine. The goals of the strikes were achieved. All designated targets were hit, the ministry said in a statement. Ukraine's Air Force said it shot down 44 of more than 50 cruise missiles that were launched by Russia. Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal said Russian missiles and drones hit 10 Ukrainian regions and damaged 18 objects, mostly energy facilities.